producers, listen to this. If I sell a beat to Cardi B right now, the contract the label sends me will show that we're splitting the composition copyright 50-50. But if I sample an obscure song from 50 years ago, there's a good chance I'll lose 100% of my composition copyright. That means no performance royalties, no mechanical royalties, no micro sync royalties, likely no sync royalties, period. And no chance at a publishing deal. You probably heard the story about Diddy having to pay Sting anywhere from $2,000 to $7,000 a day for sampling him way back. And if that sounds weird to you, it's always sounded like a lie to me. It's because it was a lie. The people repeating that lie over and over again just don't understand how the music business works, and they don't understand sarcasm. Sting did take a large portion of that song, and so he's being paid every time it gets played. It was Diddy being sarcastic because he was upset at probably how much money Sting actually did end up getting from the success of that song based on whatever the sample clearance agreement was. But Sting did take 85% of Juice WRLD's biggest hit record, and that wasn't even a direct sample. 85%. So sample clearance is evil, not as a concept, but in practice. I'll explain what I mean, and I'll give you an example with Kanye West, who got 100% of his composition copyright taken from him on his first big single. And this was the old Kanye West. This was not new school problematic Kanye. And I'm talking about the song Through the Wire. Now, there's the story that we all heard about, and then there was the story of what really happened. And the story we all heard, well, most of us, had to do with Chaka Khan. Now, Chaka Khan had a song. She's a singer. She had a bunch of hit records. One of her songs, it wasn't a hit, but it was called Through the Fire. Kanye West sampled that for his single Through the Wire. And after she gave him permission, which I'm unclear as to why she had to, I'll explain why, she was upset at how the track sounded. Not because of Kanye's lyrics, but because of how he sped up her vocals.
Oh, yeah, use it. Then when it came, I was like, like some kind
fast
of
forward, yeah. It was fast.
I was pissed.
You were.
I thought it was a little insulting.
And
I'm not insulting. I thought it was stupid.
right.
You know,
And did you?
if I'd known he was gonna do that, I said, hell no.
Did you tell him?
I never thought. I know I didn't.
Now, years later, Chaka Khan retracted her statement, said it was a misunderstanding. Cool. Here's the problem, though. Chaka Khan didn't write the song. And the people who did write the song took 100% of Kanye West's underlying composition copyright for that song, not because they needed to, not because of any moral objection, simply because they just wanted more. And that to me is a problem. Let me know what you think in the comments, but check this out. This is crazy. There was an interview, a tell-all. I was shocked. The internet producer community is split on this, but a lot of us are upset. I want to know how you feel about this. We've covered this podcast before, and the writer is. It's hosted by Ross Golan, and I believe I had some not so happy thoughts about the last episode, where I think it was Ross who was incredibly critical of sampling, or was it sampling or drum program? It was something where he was trying to snatch publishing from someone. Of course, the show is called And the Writer Is, which is ironic, and there's some more irony, but this is David Foster. He's one of the writers of Chaka Khan's Through the Fire, which came out in the 80s. A lot of people think these singers write and own their underlying composition, but it's not the case. So let's see what he has to say about sample clearance for Kanye's song. Oh, of course.
Sample that defines Kanye's career.
He got nothing. We still remain the 100% writers.
Presumably that's the biggest sample of your catalog.
You know, it's a funny story about that. I wrote that song with my friend Tom Keane, and the lyrics were done by Cynthia Weil. And when Kanye, his camp, likes, hey, we want to use your song all the way through this record, and he wants 50% of the writing or whatever, I was like, well, okay. And because he was huge at that time. He was getting really huge. Cynthia was like, that. No, he gets nothing. So he got nothing. It's still we still remain the 100% writers. Ain't that something?
That is a wild stat.
Yeah.
I just think it's super out of pocket how he tells that story with so much glee. Like you're proud. You're proud of that.
Not the only
that Kanye. that I mean, I know that
He's
he's
proud because it paid for that suit he was wearing just then on the show. He's proud because that's paying for still his great grandkids and great great grandkids to go to college. Like, because that song is what? How many times Diamond? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a wild. I don't like how he's smiling. I
I
can't.
don't,
That's wild.
yeah. Yeah, I felt the same way listening to this cat. But it sounded like Kanye made the decision. You know, he still wanted to put it out. He accepted that split. You know, at the end of the day, it played out well for him too. Like, it's a big song, and it obviously he, you know, benefits from being able to perform it and whatever he has on the master side. But I just think that's bad business in my opinion, and I hope that they got a lot of bad karma just stacked up. Like, because sometimes
but it's
that's
one of those things where you got to figure, right? So they were writing songs way back. You know, they're older. They may have been retired. I don't know if you ever really retired from the music industry, but you get this chance at the second wind here, and you know, Chaka Khan's song. You know, Chaka Khan is incredibly accomplished. She's doing fine. That particular song, Through the Fire, wasn't a hit single. Through the Wire was a hit single. So I understand when you sample somebody, it's on them to say yes or no. And you're just so stupid that you ran with it. And that's why the music business is so chaotic with the commentary and people not understanding how things work. So that's situation. What a mess that is. But my issue is, it goes back to sample clearance. We can say, hey, nobody should allow another artist to sample them, but what about covers? You don't have a choice. You have to allow someone to cover your song. That's why covers have become problematic. That's why, for example, Prince versus Sinead O'Connor. Prince's song, Nothing Compares to You, got covered by Sinead O'Connor. It was her hugest, largest, biggest hit. And, you know, rest in peace to both of them, but Prince hated that version. But he couldn't do anything about it because the way the music business is set up, the way the laws are set up, you have to approve. Like, if someone puts out a cover that you don't like to one of your songs, there's really not much you can do about it. So with sample clearance, why do we let people just run wild and say, you know what, I want 80%, I want 100%, I want 100% of everything. I want 100% and a sample clearance fee. Like, calm down. There should be something in place to either allow people to approve or disapprove, or in the case of approval, some sort of streamlined method such that it doesn't become the wild, wild west every time you walk to the negotiation table. Because that's wild. There's no reason why I should be able to sample or interpolate a Timberland track and he gets 17%, and then Kanye samples this Chaka Khan record and they get 100%. That's a hell of a disparity.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Payne. That doesn't make sense to me at all. There should be a limit if you do approve. I think you should be able to approve or not approve covers too, but that's just not the case. But yeah, there should be a limit when it comes to sample of like, what's the max? Because to get nothing, and I wonder if Kanye could see the future and see how much less money he would make on a song that performs the same, like, do you make the same decision? Because a lot, and he probably does, to be honest. Like, creators don't, especially in the moment, like, creators don't give a shit. Like, they want what they created to be out there, and you know, they don't care how the business is set up. They want their art to be heard. So I get it, but there definitely should be some limit to what percentage of the song you could take. Because I'm sure Kanye could have come up with something else to replace that, and the song could have been just as big. But you
Maybe,
never
I don't know.
know.
I
I
don't
love
know.
that
I
beat.
do feel like it's a perfect song.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like across the board. I feel like through the wire is quite literally a perfect song. Especially like when representing hip hop from that era. Like I think it'll go down as whatever, and I think it's gonna have a resurgence in another 10 years, and then 30 years from now it's gonna have another resurgence. I think when he heard it, he knew. And when he was making it, he probably had the feeling like, this is pure magic. I can't let the business stop it. And I feel like he is very much one of those artists who is like art for the sake of art. It's evident even like with the way that he did stuff with Donda. Like I know about like, like in general, we're always talking about Kanye lawsuits. If we're being honest, when it comes to producers, like that man does not care about the legality. And I'm not even saying like, in a disrespectful way. I think the stuff that's happened with the producers, I hope that that's not a recurring theme for him. But I think that he's so caught up in, I want this art to hit the ears of the people in the world. I want my influence to shape the globe, which it does consistently. I think for him, he's like, I can't withhold this, my gift. Like, yes, he's so talented. He probably has songs like that are on his hard drive or on hard drives that he's forgotten about and lost. Like Kanye probably has stuff that we'd be like, oh my God, this should have been out ages ago. But I even like right now thinking about that song, I'm like, it's a perfect song. It had to play out. Like it had to come to the world. So I think that he was willing to make that sacrifice. And then again, this is publishing. Like you said, he owns part of the master, hopefully. And then he went through that thing with Def Jam where he's trying to get his masters back. But then in addition to that, how many bookings did he get? How many, honestly, like stadiums and arenas did he get really for? I know he was on the rise, but this was like the massive, massive, massive hit that solidified him to me to be able to go on and do, graduation and all the other things that he did. It was about his storytelling and everything. So I don't know if there's a way that Kanye could be Kanye without this song, in my opinion. So like, he definitely still probably made maybe even hundreds of millions, but he definitely made tens of millions off this song, even outside of the publishing part. I do agree that it sucks though. I think it's so wrong. And then, so Smug how he was like, she said no. So we still, like, what? Like, to me, that was like a backhanded, like, and then looking at the way that the writers look, I don't like that because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, so y'all came up off of Shaka Khan and Kanye? Like that to me, I'm not trying to make it a thing where people are jumping at me, but like from the
Well, what Lizzo
racial
said.
place,
Remember what Lizzo
from a
said. Use
place of
Lizzo as a
race,
shield.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
rock with.
Yeah. Do you think that there were, and you can probably look it up, were there any other writers on that song that really got shafted? Like, was Kanye working with somebody on that song that just didn't get anything?
Well, we wouldn't know if they own 100%. They're the only ones listed.
Oh, they would be the only ones listed. But
As writers,
yeah, yeah, there could be somebody that really got shafted.
They're like the other producers.
if
Yeah.
there were any. Yeah.
I mean, I know Kanye started working with 1 billion people on every song, but I think early days it might have just been him and maybe somebody else. I don't know. I guess we'll never know. But I just don't feel. I don't know how people can feel comfortable doing that. Like, oh, let's just take 100.
Yeah, it's shitty because you got to figure you're gonna make a bunch. That song's a platinum single, so it was a great stepping stone for Kanye's later massive hits where he's going 5 times platinum, whatever. But that I agree with Aaron that was his introduction to the music industry as a rapper. That was it wasn't the first time we heard him rap, but it was the defining moment when he entered into that new era of his career. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, I just think differently. Number one, that podcast is called And the Writers Are, and then it's also, or And the Writer Is. And then Ross Golan is a co-chair of the National Music Publishers Association, which represents publishers and writers who, again, guarantee, and they've made it so that a person can cover another song as long as they secure the mechanical license. Or as long as they pay for the mechanical license. There's no clearance process. There's not really an approval process. So it's hypocritical to me. I think it's hypocritical because we're talking about effective. The cover is taking the whole thing. I could cover Through the Fire right now and it would sound like ass. It would be the worst shit ever. And they couldn't do shit about it. But if I sample 2 seconds of it, all of a sudden they can own 100%. And they would, based on how they move. My thing is like, if someone ever samples me, I'm going to listen to the track. And especially if it's going to be from a massive artist, it could be the biggest artist on the planet right now that samples me. And I'm like, let me think about this. I want to be cool so that more artists sample me. All right, you know what? Just give me 30%. This song is probably going to be massive. I'm going to make a ton of money off of this. Or if they come to me and say, we'll give you 50. Oh yeah, I'll take that. Why be greedy about it if I'm not making that type of money off of it? There's got to be something else. There's got to be it feels like there was some sort of animosity or disdain towards either Kanye as a person, and back then he wasn't problematic yet, either Kanye as a person or the genre and culture of hip hop. That's what my gut is telling me.
Yeah, I mean, or it could just be that's what they saw other people do. That was just what you do if you have the leverage.
Maybe they knew Sting.